Hello, this is another one of my just talking about things kind of videos, because stuff like this is fascinating me and it kind of helps. I've been to the doctors and they say one of my ways to help me feel better about things is to talk about things. I've tried to make a video, as I said in the last one, if anyone's seen it. If you did, yeah, nice one. If not, whatever, you're not missing out. But I tried to do like a connection between video gaming and like mental illnesses like depression, anxiety, all that kind of crap. Well, I remembered in college we done an assignment how to relate with teenagers and shooting games, like to promote violence. So I've actually got the file, the big Word document that I created in class and actually got a good grade for, so I'm just going to read off of that and voice what my opinions were and if they've changed, which I doubt they will have, but let's jump into them. Well, I was given the task of writing an article for like a false computing magazine that reveals the effects of shooting games between like 16 to 18 year olds. Well, it says 16 to 18, but it's generally just teenagers and like young adults. I mean, like mid-20s, whatever. And I done a bit of research online and read some news stories. Most of it was negative. A lot of the media and the internet and everyone have negative stories of games, saying that they were violent for the mature audiences. I found like a load of different stories and info like on the topic. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to read off of it. Well, the first article that I found was on some weblog called childrenshospitalblog.org. I'll try and find the website and stick it in the description if anyone wants to have a look through, but I'm going to summarise it here. The website discusses common issues to do with children and society. A user submitted question was, I don't wish for my teen son to have more first-person shooter experiences, and all he wants in this world is the Modern Warfare 2 game. All of his friends have it already, and he says he'll be laughed at and left out if he doesn't get it. He said these games are so much fun, and he gets a rush out of it. How do these games impact teen boys? Are they positive impacts? So what should I do? And one of the users responded, it was Dr. Michael Rich. So I don't know if he's actually a doctor, but it came up with the website like verified. You know, he's one of the people who runs this website. He responded in the first paragraph. He said, "Modern Warfare 2 opens with a scene with a player." It doesn't open with it. It's one of the first few missions, but it doesn't open with it. Opens where a player is an undercover agent in a terrorist group, and he walks into an airport terminal in Russia with other terrorists and just starts spraying down civilians. I remember that mission. It was a bit messed up, like, and you get points for killing them. Like, you get reward. Like, the mission carries on if you keep killing them. So even those injured are crawling away because of the bullet wounds. Like, you see people, like, you shoot them but they're not dead and they're crawling for help and screaming no. But reality is actually quite similar, but it's not accurate. As I said, I do have like, well, had it, I've sold it, and I agree with the user who commented in the thread. He wrote what I thought. He had a good few points. A few of the points being that the game doesn't open with, as I said, it's actually the 4th level I wrote here, around the 3rd of the way through the game. Another point made is that you're not actually told to kill anyone. The other members of the group just start doing it. You're not told to by the characters. I've wrote some gibberish here. Blah 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 blah. Just the other members of the group just begin killing them. You're not told to do it, but the game does punish the player after some time if you don't kill it. If you don't kill any of the civilians, then the other members of the group say traitor, and they shoot you and they kill you, which is kind of messed up that it's in the game. What was it? We're getting to the weapons on you. Another point that I noticed is you don't actually have to play that mission at all. When you load up the game, there's a menu that says enable or disable graphic content, so you can actually cut that mission out. Or when you actually reach that mission, if you go on the pause menu, there's a skip mission option. So, and you still get the credit for finishing it. So if you want to do that on hardest difficulty, to do a veteran run, you don't have to finish that mission. You can start it, say skip, and it counts as you doing it on whatever difficulty you're on. So the writer of the article is overemphasizing the graphic content. It is really sick, but they were just overemphasizing for hype online. But there are different sides to the argument, like some of them being that violent games can promote violence that uses personality, but it has no effect on the personality as well. But some people are up and over, it's everywhere. One argument being that people think just because I play violent games where I kill people doesn't mean I'm gonna go out and kill people. The arguments are relevant because in reality, people don't just go out and kill people spontaneously. Like, you know what? I ran someone over in GTA. I might go get a car and just mow some people. It doesn't happen. And in the US, less than 600,000 people are murdered each year apparently. And when the murders are committed, it's near enough impossible to predict whether the game's actually influenced or the cause of it. But another side could be is that the researchers have found the news and media hypes like have more effect on the populace than they do themselves. What's heard in the news of stories involved in video games is believed that it affects others, but it doesn't affect those. So no one seems to be a consistent arguer online. Cough. Another argument is that games and entertainment industries claim that violent media like TV, movies, games, even music don't increase aggression at all. And the public might agree that making these claims is in the interest of themselves in the industry. Like, oh, my music doesn't make people violent at all. It's like, shut up. But you know, no matter what, no effects are seen, and there's a psychological effect we're playing games, which produces a result that's stronger than physical responses. So it's stupid. I got a paragraph. The argument of video game violence for, so it's to side with the group of people who believe that violence does promote and create violent people. I think that, so this is for those, I think that video games making people violent is irrelevant, because for generations there have been movies, TV programs that include much more violent and even disturbing scenes. On this I've actually got a picture of the guy from Alien, which, if I remember this, I'll prop it up on the screen, that the one I'm looking at now, where one of the films involve a creature burning, or the alien melting away a man's face using acid, and the alien's bursting out people's chests. And right now I'm seeing the cyborg fella who's ripped in half in his guts, and he's sitting up going, ah. Like The Exorcist and films like The Omen, which have really disturbing scenes and like biblical violence. Like, violent people, stupid, but films like this have been around for a long time. They've been viewed by millions of people, but it doesn't mean that people are gonna turn out to attack people with acid and burn people alive. I've read horror stories, but some sick people have actually used acid to attack people. But you can't blame films and movies for that. Some people are just sick, but then again you could say it is that. But to side with the group of people who believe that violent games do not promote violence in people, gaming does often have an obsession with violence. Like GTA is a good example. Great games, but they are really violent. Like the new one, we have to torture a man. But it helps keep players hooked to a game. Developers and gamers often do resort to a blood and gore fest a lot easy. Dead Space, I know that's the key mechanic to it, is dismemberment. But it's fed to the masses because it's, to be honest, it's what people enjoy. Games are really over dramatic and unrealistic, but that's the fun. If a game was too realistic, then they'd be less fun and they wouldn't sell well. It's completely honestly, if a game's like The Sims is like a simulistic way of living, but it's not really. It's kind of odd way of doing it. If a game was just, you know, you gotta wake up, gotta go get a wash, go to work, and you have to do your work and come back and go to bed, it's no game. You've gotta have some sort of odd depiction for it. Like an example of a game that's been controversially violent is GTA 4. Like, the game is obviously known for being violent and over the top, and it's been in the news for loads of things. But its sense point being crime and violence, that's why it's called Grand Theft Auto. There's one mission in it where, on GTA 4, when you've got to break into the lawyer's office and you pretend to be an applicant to get a job in the law firm, and you've got to steal some files to one of the game's characters. I can't really remember right now, but the game changes when you have the files. For no reason, the game suggests you shoot the lawyer instead of letting him run away with his life, which is confusing. But the game's center point is violence, so it's expected. The actual game is named after the kind of crime, as I've said. The game recommends that you shoot your way out and have a police chase to escape. But what I used to actually do, there's a window behind the guy, to let him run out, shoot the window, jump out, and then I'd leave a car parked on there and you could just run away, so you get away with it. Games with the obsession with violence, using that mission as an example, just because the character uses the rules of a job interview steal and shoot up a law firm, kill loads of police officers in a daring escape, engage in a high-speed pursuit. Doesn't mean your next job interview, like bloody McDonald's or Primark or whatever, will result in some hostage taken by deep fat fries or the fucking shoes racks and run down the high street in a daring attempt. It just doesn't happen. So people who believe that games will promote violence, I think they're stupid, but that is my opinion. A lot of people have other opinions and I do respect that. But summing up the arguments whether games do promote violence in teenagers, I personally think that games are not directly or even remotely responsible for creating and promoting violent natures in video games. If there ever is a case of violence committed and video games are seen as the only thing that could be to blame, then it's not the case. In reality, it's the person who committed the crime's fault, not some game that he's played. The blame cannot and really shouldn't be shifted to someone or else someone else. It's their responsibility. Now, there's a really big famous example. This fascinated me. It's really messed up. These people were mentally ill for years. But a big famous example, motives for crimes and influence, such as the Columbine High School massacre in 1999, with two of the school's senior students, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. They murdered a total of 12 students, one teacher, and injured 21 more students, and 3 people who attempted to escape the school. And the end result was those two committing suicide. The incident caused lots of kids, kinds of debate, over gun control laws and also things like that to arise, and the nature of school groups and subcultures involving bullying and social groups. Like, a lot of people found out that they were fans of Doom and Wolfenstein, the old games, and this is the only thing that I can see that there's a connection. The pair actually created levels for Doom that were spread around the internet, known as the Harris levels, named after the ones who made it. And there's a rumour that they were loosely based on the layout of their high school, but they were apparently rumoured to be false. So if they did create a Doom level to practice what they were planning, then that's the only connection I could see. But there's one thing off the top of my head, because I've run out of things to read off. I read one news story where there was a couple who were playing World of Warcraft. I think it was a couple, and they had a child, like a little infant, and they were that into the game they forgot about the child, and the child just starved. Like, it shouldn't happen. And there's another one where a guy was playing the game and he was minding someone else's child, and the baby was crying for something, like must be hungry, need changing, and he used to just whack the baby to try and get it to shut up, and he'd done it that much he actually just killed the child, which is messed up. So that is one link. I'm going to try and find more research and do something about that, like how people obsess into games and lose their social interaction skills, which links into the anxiety, depression, all different mental disorders. So next I'm going to try and do that. It might be a while because I said I'd do this one sooner, but I've been doing work because I finished uni like a week or two ago. I've got pretty much nothing to do. So I hope it like this, and I hope it was insightful. If anyone actually thinks it was useful, then let me know. But I'm going to try and make some more videos like this, because I know it fascinates me. I don't know what anyone else is like. There should be some cough to death out there. There should be videos of every violent game that I've got here. I'm just gonna try and do a little montage clip that was playing during this whole video. But if anyone actually thinks this was insightful, just let me know, because it helps me understand a lot of people. So if it helps other people, then that's good for me. But I really don't think that games cause violence in people. It's the people's dependency that does. Right, well, I'm gonna cut this one here, and I shall see you later.